had this bounce here right at that key level. Had to go drop off my son at school, so I tried it. I just popped it to break even, got wicked out, and it's now running. So sucks to suck. Gonna wait for the open, see if we retest this zone here. You have overnight high right up above, and this yellow line here was a pretty strong resistance, 18,594.75. So we're gonna watch that pretty closely moving forward today on the open. This was yesterday's opening range. I may shoot a shot in an opening range trade if it does come into play. We have a special guest today. Little this guy. He's gonna be here the whole day. You say hi? Well, for some time. Most of the stream. So it's the Daddy Daycare stream day here. Policey Pip stream. So if you hear the banging and the noise and the kid in the back, that's the Maximus.
Purple, you're gonna. Look, you're in.
You do see this 5 minute. Let's go to the 1. You can see this starting to form here. Could be looking to now sell off again, just pre-market open. Let's see if I can pull up my YouTube so I can hear some news of any sorts. Let's check out. Still trying to push some. We did gap up. I mean, with this contract, clean that up a bit. See if we do crack this downside pressure at 18,498. Unless this is going to be another rest day. You can see the wick off top yesterday. All-time high, made new all-time highs yesterday. These wicked it, rotating back down. We did break this support couple days ago. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is Friday. Broke down, failed, came back up, and sitting on here. Could this now be acting as support to rotate to all-time highs again, or are we just going to continue to rotate down through this 18.5 level down and start this new rotate to the downside? This is my normal, like, you know, when you hit a high, a rising wedge pattern there, right? So we do start to crack this and rotate down on a longer scale. You do have down into the highs of that 16,000, 18,000 cracks. I think if 18,000 breaks and you start to get some sellers coming in, you do see this start to roll some. Go to the 4 hour. You can see it rejecting that level from this morning. That's where I was looking at that long here, but now we're starting to rotate through. You could see that this breakdown did start to play down. We do have the Russell kind of not doing, oh, this is the S&Ps here. S&Ps doing a similar type of move here where it's trying to wedge out, looking to roll back over to low. The Russell, though, is not looking to do that. It's making a higher high. Maybe those small caps are going to be a little bit stronger on the open before we look at this 21.22 level that we looked at yesterday right after the open as well, right? That 21.22 level was the breakout point yesterday, acted as support the rest of the day, again, and then flushed it well, what time was that? 6:45 this morning, right? So you're seeing a bit of a pullback on the NQs, but Russell is leading a little bit higher, or slightly stronger, I should say, even though it had the pullback earlier. Let's see if we can get this to... Oh, there's that Maximus coming in, acting to his namesake.
Maximus Alligator. Here's yellow.
Let's see if we can compare the two between the NVIDIA is pushing down from that 920 level, pretty much right back into yesterday's lows. If we do get onto that 906 or 900, watch for a bounce. If you flush those areas, I think you continue down with the NASDAQ. S&Ps here, we had that all-time high right there. If we're going to analyze this on a
Here is
4-hour chart,
pink.
there's that base out pattern, breakout of that all-time high, and now we've completely just blown through here, and we're sitting at this little bit of a, either it's going to be a wedge pattern breakdown, or you got this lower high, but you break out back above that high once again and then rotate through. It's kind of just a wait and see, kind of what kind of patterns you like to play out. The S&Ps are a little more extended than the NASDAQ, right? This is that previous all-time high. The previous all-time high in the NQ is pretty much right here, right? So yesterday we made new highs, but just by a tick. We've been making new highs since last Wednesday, past Wednesday on the ES. So the ES was leading strong side, now is trying to pull back. Very similar types of price action, however, just further off from the highs, right? Once again, we're going to do a patience type day. Look for whatever happens down here at 498.
Where's
That 500, 498 level, it either needs to hold, or if it's going to break, we need a hold, a break and hold, and then a rotate down into that previous level below. You know, first target 420, then down below that. But we're gonna have to just watch, wait, and see. I'm gonna check out some of these Fenton names. Go 30 minutes on that. Got 5 minutes till open, so you know you can see Apple yesterday just completely got beat up based on that news of the antitrust laws. Not sure about that. If it's going to do anything really of note to that name, or if it's just going to be a little bump in the road, I think. Just watch yesterday's lows down there at 171. And Microsoft right back above that 428.80. Yesterday I said above 428.80 is bullish, below is bearish, right? So here we had some rejection on it. Right here, break above and hold, and then it's been holding above. Pre-market, we dipped our head below, but we just gapped right above it. So let's see if it'll hold that. And then the almighty NVIDIA is in between that range, like I said. You got to kind of just watch NVIDIA at yesterday's lows. We're below 906. So anywhere around that 906 to 900 range, look for bounces. If it does break and hold those levels, then I think that drags down the NASDAQ. But we have to just kind of see, like I said, wait and see what we're going to do here. So right now we're just going to be kind of patient. Oh, Google too got antitrust information, so What's next Friday? The holiday? 29th? I guess it's the Easter break. See what we get going on here. Patience kind of day. We just kind of be mindful of these kind of setups here. They seem to play out. I might just have to take some shots on these and just take quick profits on them. Some base hits, but this is kind of building up. This was, let's go with 5 minutes. Let's do that. I kind of like that area as an interesting level. The 530 level, 529.50. I'm going to watch it on the open. Might, like I said, take an opening range trade based on the last few sessions. Opening range after that, let's give it 5 minutes. You let that first candle settle, see which way it breaks afterwards, and then just see if you can ride it up. At the moment, we're kind of dipping down below that 530 level, kind of flagging out some. Nvidia popping a little. Sorry about the hammering in the background. There's Maximus in the back. He's just doing his thing. Apple giving a little bit of a bounce. Microsoft failing 428.80. All right, so there's that opening range. Looking like about 75 ticks. S&P's pushing up, breaking above these highs that were made. You can see S&P's breaking highs. Russell breaking above. So let's see if NQ can get some strength and rally above this opening range. My only issue is that overhead VWAP here. To try for that long is kind of a tough idea there for me. That Russell took off. Russell broke 21.22 like we talked about. You can see just kind of ranging within that opening range. Not really much going on there. Like I said, I did like this area down here for a bounce or a break. So we're going to use this zone, that 500, 502. This red line was the opening, the overnight low up until we cracked it and then made a rotation through it. So I'm leaving that line there because it was some pretty strong resistance. Then we have above that overhead, that green line was that overnight That 94 played a really strong resistance most of that night until it broke and then failed it. So if we get something similar where we break, fail, rotate, could be sort of a rotational type day, unless we do get that continuation, right? And then you get that push. So Russell pushing down, looking to see if Russell cracks that 21.17, we may push down even lower. Let's see what this Microsoft cracked lows below 428.80. Nvidia pushing up to 915. Apple. So we got some divergences. Apple just selling off pretty good here. So let's just see. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna be patient. It seems kind of choppy right now on this open. Obviously, you can see we've stayed pretty much right within this opening range. You do see these wicks grab, some liquidity. Delta's very similar. There's not a lot of information there. Like I said, I'm nervous long above because the VWAP is sitting right overhead here and could act as a good strong resistance. Yeah, and then we have a decent a resistance area there, right around that 560 level. So to go long there would be probably not the best idea. Breaking through here, that would keep me out of that trade on the long end. It could be the right move, but I would like to be more long down here, closer to the overnight low, to fail breakdown and then rotate back higher. Based on this week being just not necessarily. Let's see, NQ1 here. Do we have any information that's going to get rid of this move here? I'm not really sure about that, right? So this support level was where we gapped up and opened up above on the new contract month, right? If you just pop this down here, we're kind of just barely, obviously all-time highs, but we'd be really in the range down here if you adjusted it for contracts, right? You pull it down, then you'd be down in this range here, which, keeps you pretty much inside of this little zone. So I wouldn't be too surprised if it does pull back and get through that 500 level, but at the same time I do feel like maybe this Friday stays as an inside and then rotates up some and just stays up here until next week. That's just my thought on a slower type week, even on a Fed week. Apple still pushing lower. Microsoft trying to push back up to 428.80. Still right dead center of the opening range. Nothing that I want to take there.
What is going on? Oh, what did I just get on?
What happened? What happened, little guy? Oh, you driving the car around? Cool. All right. So like I said, I drew this line up here. I thought it was a pretty important level. It seems like it's just bouncing right around it, kind of holding this area. It's not, like I said, nothing that I really want to be involved in. It's very sticky to that level. The VWAP is right here. I probably will wait a while before I actually enter, unless we get, like I said, we get into here. Like I mentioned about yesterday's short idea, where we caught that idea from the top, right? My thought was over here, we're going to get some sort of rising wedge pattern. You can see I took the entry, got stopped at break even on it, I left for the day. I couldn't stay on the stream anymore. But you got that rising wedge pattern that I liked, the failure to break out above these all-time highs and run. And so once that failure came in, we rotated down through the previous all-time high and then all the way down to where we're at now. I love this pattern here, and that was also you could see sort of a head and shoulders for that continuation. So looking for something similar like this, where maybe we make it lower than that 500 level at the low end, and then you get a little bit of a descending wedge, and then you rotate it back down on a failed breakdown, right? So that's what we're looking for over here. If we do get to the low, right? If you get to the lows, which we may not. It may leave this opening range low at the low and continue on. But like I said, it's hard for me to accept to take a long below VWAP, right? That kind of just is one layer of security that this trade would have as far as going long is this overhead pressure from the VWAP from the day, right? Because this is just saying that it's still in a short bearish environment, right? Since yesterday, since that all-time high break we just mentioned, all the way down, we've just been selling since based out, broke the base, now popping back up. If this becomes a higher low here, then you are going to see that rotation back above VWAP. VWAP will act as some sort of resistance. If you're going to accept and start to rotate and become a long, then you have to see this hold above the VWAP area. Then you could start to look for longs if that's your thought. I like to maybe short the overnight high and then fade that back down to VWAP. That's another play. So two scenarios is we get up here, we short it, we get down here, we fail to hold a breakdown and follow through below that 493, and then we rotate higher, we take that long also back to VWAP. But I would maybe look to possibly just take some off at the VWAP area and then look to see if we can get a runner to the other end. But right now, we've spent the entire session at 529.50 right here. S&P's just broke their high of the opening range and is trying to push higher, as is the Russell, also trying to push higher. So, like I said, I don't want to take this long because of this overhead rejection thought, but it could be a good long with leaving that behind. I want to get above VWAP, hold, and then maybe see if the long will play out a little bit better. But more realistically, short from the high, long from the low. That's just I can't justify going long into VWAP when it's only that many points. I mean, I could have that's just not working out for me. You can see the rejection of that area. Why it's right. We're in a short environment, so the breakout failure is more likely. If you do fail that breakout and break the low, you maybe can take a quick short through this low and see if you can, catch that little move, right? And then have your risk there. So that idea could just be a quick little scalp idea. A short through 522, but be mindful of 520. And then rotate to the low and then see if you get a fail, break it low, or if you get a continuation, then you just stay in it. But like I said, quick scalp, kind of trail your stop tight to that low if that's what you're looking at. Some Fed speakers today. I would consider this. If this closes below this opening range low, because all these other things were leading high side and the NASDAQ didn't catch up, so it's maybe leading downside. I would like to see this break through here. And then I want to see this rotate to the low. So I have a order down here at 520.25. I'm front running it a little bit, so if I get tickled in and stopped out, it is what it is. Okay, we're in short here. If that's going to be a whippy liquidity grab or if it's going to be a follow through, we're going to see. I'm going to enter my position. We're short 5. Oh, wow. Wonderful. What's our price? 18,520 and a quarter. This is the trying to play the short through the opening range low. Got wicked in by this long wick here, but looks like it wants to continue down sell side. Everything else is selling off pretty hard. NQ, ES, and Russell all kind of acting in confluence. The NQ was weaker, so I'm thinking that now that those names are selling off, that this NQ could follow through to the downside. Like I said, I'm going to take off a couple if I get to the low. I will take off. I'll front run it at 505. I'll take off 3 there. And then I'll see if I can get 2 to run through the low. Oh, yeah. Come on. Don't be just a wick bottom. Let's follow through one time. Everything else is weak. This should still follow through. There we go. There's the flush. Let's see if we can get down into that area. Come on out. Flush down, flush down. Let's get through 510. If you can get through 510, then we definitely get filled on that first 3 there. Still haven't gotten filled. If this doesn't follow through, then we're going to get stopped at break even. Because I'm not playing that game. Because 510 was a pretty strong resistance point there. But it is pretty heavy. I think that we should be able to get filled on that 3. And I'm going to move that up to 510, 508. So we got 3 off. And now we have 2 on now for the runner, which I'm leaving at the opening range low. So we took off $66 on that. Now we're just going to let the rest of it kind of ride out. See if the opening range low breaks. I mean, not the opening range, the overnight low. If an overnight low breaks, then we will see if we can continue on down. And then if we don't fail it, then we're going to have the 2 on. If we do fail the overnight low and start to rotate higher, we're going to start to look for that long after a failed breakdown of that 493 level. So let's see if we can let this thing kind of melt off some. Like I said, S&Ps was selling off. Russell also selling off some. If we can get through this red line, I'm going to put my stop at that 510-ish area above this wick. So that's just going to be my, like I said, this is a quick scalp type idea, which we just hit off on that target. Now we're going to just hold it. It's got to get through the red line, though. I can't just move it prior to it closing. 7 seconds on the close. Let's see if we can get this to flush even further. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down. This stop hasn't moved yet. It ticked off on that 502. Yeah. The way that this works is they usually like to flush the bottoms if it's going to be a failure. If it's not going to fail, and it's going to continue on, then you could still get the S&Ps is selling off pretty hard, so we should get a follow through on this now. I'm not going to move this stop yet. S&P is definitely selling off pretty good. Just broke down through 295 and a quarter, selling off nicely. I am going to leave my stop above this wick here, and we're going to let it ride. Let's see what happens with it. Very nice little idea here on the failed breakout, using VWAP as a don't go long. There's overhead resistance. If we fail the low, we should fail the overnight lows. And then if we fail the overnight lows, we either get the failure, look for our long retracement back to VWAP, or we look to just follow this down. If it doesn't fail, we look to try and trail it out. But this may wick us out and then continue downside. Let's see if it continues or if it just pops off from here. There's a good chance it does pop because it did wick this 2 times. And now it looks like it wants to go. There we go. We're flat now. We're flat for, we made there 60, 80, 90 bucks. 90 bucks. All right. So we'll take that. We're flat now. Like I said, that was just a quick scalp for now. And our P&L is up 90. And we're going to put that to green. We just want to take good, clean executions here and see where the world takes us here. I think that do break this low. Like I said, I think we got wicked out here, and then it's going to rotate down. But my stop was going to be at break even anyway, so I might as well secure another $20 on it, right? Now watch this for our rotation through as a failure of the overnight low. The original idea is playing a bounce play, but I want to see this fail. Give me like a descending wedge. This is going to be a little bit more of a patience type idea. If this fails and just continues on, then we missed out on some money here on just holding the whole 5 at break even. Maybe taking 3 off at the very bottom, which I could have done that instead, but that's the difference between $40. So I'm not too worried about it. 462. Yeah, I think that's a good good spot. Let me check it out here on the I have 60. So for 62, 59 I have it as there, but yeah, I can see 62 being a good target. I also could see there being resistance down at 422. For 462 is here. That's that wick bottom. Wick bottom there at 462. The low of that one, yeah, 462 and 3/4. The asshole ice cream with the call out down to 462. I dig it. I think a breakdown of here, we see some whippy action, and then we get either confirm and hold down below, or we have to see if we can get that set up for our lack of follow through and push to the high side. Nvidia bouncing, and then I want to see if Microsoft is holding above that level. No, it failed at 428.80. So like I said, everything below 428.80 to me is bearish, but we do have yesterday's lows that kind of could get acting as support, which could be a bounce play for Microsoft, and also could kind of prop this up just a touch. I mean, that sell-off there is due to some of this, Chop City. I agree. I took that one trade. We took that short through the opening range low. I expected it to just be a quick scalp, which it was. I took off half there, and then I got stopped out on the other half there, which is fine by me. I, made $90 on it. 80, 89, whatever. I rounded. See, the idea of it being a quick scalp to me made me quicker to hold, quicker to get something off, quicker to stop. And, obviously, because my real bias is looking for a long idea here, I want to see this now to play out. I want to see a little bounce here, maybe get to that that opening range low, or where we're at right now. Start to rotate down lower, give like a hard push, maybe give something that closes, but then immediately pop back up and get into this range here. Any sort of return, we'll start to look for. I'm going to start to look for this descending wedge type pattern here at the low. Yesterday at the very high, that was a great call, and we're still, if you took that short, you could still technically be in it if you're not trading prop or anything like that. But this idea here of this being support is definitely something I'm interested in, especially at Friday. Bounce, higher low here. I want to see a flush. Give me that flush. Back into that opening range. S&P's not close, but trying to come back to it. The opening range low in the S&P's was 5,300 and a quarter. And the opening range low for the Russell is 21.17. The NASDAQ was weaker, now is acting stronger than the other names. So that means some of these Mag 7 names are showing some strength. There's that Microsoft bounce off that low, pretty much to the penny. Pretty much called that bounce off there. And NVIDIA, I'm sure, is rocking. Yep, pushed above 918, now pushing higher. Apple, did it catch a bounce? Yep, right at 170. Caught the bounce there. So these levels are acting pretty strong. I would watch the... if this is any sort of dead cat bounce or if it's going to actually be some sort of successful retracement from here. Just very choppy right now, right? I drew up this area from the over here. It's kind of where this price stopped being parabolic and started to grind its way up. This is the very bottom end of this wedge pattern here. So we pretty much broke this whole wedge pattern down. Now we've retraced the entire thing. We flushed down even into our other breakout point over here. This is our breakout point from prior. That day was 320, right at close pretty much. So right where we're at now. We do break down lower. Like we said, down into this area here could be a realistic target. He said 450. I think 450 is reasonable, but we are catching a really nice bounce off of this low. Clearly was the right call. Was looking for this long here. I did not catch it because I was waiting for confirmation on it, but we're running right into VWAP. My quick scalp to the red line thought was correct. I could have just turned around and reversed it right off of there, but I thought maybe we can get some follow through. But you can see grabbing that liquidity, higher low, higher low. Let's see if it'll make a new higher high at all. If it wicks off this VWAP, then rotates back down, we may be starting that uptrend. If it just rejects this little downward pattern here, this overhead resistance, you can see the overhead resistance here. It's really more of VWAP that's acting as the resistance, but I'll give you that, like, overhead type of support there, and then it just cracks it. You did have that wick, so watch out for another wick here, maybe another rotation. I mean, it's very choppy, very rangy type day. But I did say I want a rotation from overnight low to overnight high. So red line to green line, I think that's a possibility as well. We didn't quite get all the way down to that pre-market low. But the overnight low for me prior to that was this support level here at 502. So it did work out as far as that's concerned. So let's see if we can continue on, or if we're going to reject this level. We just drew it up right there for you to act as resistance. I'm going to just turn this fan down a little bit. Give me 1 second. Take a look at Max for a second. Doing good, Max? Mm-hmm. All right, Daddy Daycare up $90. Took one good trade there on the short through that opening range. We secured half, looked for a little bit more on it, and then we got stopped out of the rest. Now you're starting to see the break above. I think if you get a hold here, then you may start to see VWAP act as support to run it up to the high side. If not, if you get a failure of VWAP, rotate back down and just kind of stay within this range until it decides to make some sort of decision. The Russell just broke lows on the day, and S&P's is still trying to fight that opening range low. I'm going to do one thing on the combine over here. Let's see. I'm going to sell one on the combine here just to test an idea out. But I think realistically this is kind of strong here. I think we need to be cautious of the breakout above. Even though the small caps are selling off pretty hard. That Russell, Microsoft still holding up, and NVIDIA still holding up, and Apple caught that bounce, is still holding. So Tesla, rotating Meta, Amazon, Amazon bounce. I think this bounce is a bit strong here. Like I said, you can see the Russell here. Russell is completely selling off, completely diverged from the rest of the names. So Russell selling here. This is the S&Ps. Oh, nope, there we go. S&Ps selling from that level there, and now we're selling from the highs here. See what happens. This is going to be a very important level. Mid-range, pretty much, of this opening range. Still stuck in that opening range. NASDAQ has been sort of just lagging these other names. So I'm going to just be watching it. Maybe a breakdown in here. But I don't like to take anything middle of the opening range. You got to get through this 29 if this short's going to continue on. If it flushes that, you can see a high volume node there at 31, so it's battling that. If it gets through here, doesn't act as support, kind of flushes down, you get another flush of this level here. I don't know if this bounce comes in, to be honest. Yeah, it's at a point where it has to make a decision, but also it could just breathe and just chill, and just stay kind of within this range. And then if that does happen, if this becomes more of a rest day where it just stays and holds above this red line, and S&Ps also, if it does also hold above that 293, 290 level, if it holds that, that's more of a rest than it is a pullback of any sort. So I would anticipate next week some strength maybe to continue. It's just been such a strong buyer's market. It's so hard to short, and everything I've been trying to do has been take good shorts. It's been it's a tough market to trade right now because obviously everything's disconnected when it comes to reality and what the market's doing. Kind of what Powell's saying and all those things that the Fed's doing, it leads itself to think that it's going to be shorts coming in, and all of a sudden, bang, longs come back into play. So, like I said, if it just takes a breather, if the S&Ps, if you look at it here on a 5, you can see if we hold this zone here. I mean, obviously, I said it the other day, or said it before, not the other day. We just got this big rip on Wednesday, and we've been sitting up here at these highs now for some time. Since even the meeting, not a lot of like crazy action since the meeting, but a rest. It's just spacing out, it's holding, and it's not following through on any sort of strong breakdown. If it starts to grind down and grind down and grind out, and then starts to get some momentum, then I might say be convinced that it breaks. But right now, the leader right now to the downside is the Russell, and that has not made new highs. So it's still at those levels where it's not quite rolling. And there's that break of the high. So you can see. I think it matters to a point. I think it's just algos that'll be really paying attention. None of those they're not going to say anything different, right? The rhetoric is going to still be, we're going to be careful. We're going to not want to cut rates too early, but not cut rates too late. All these things that they continue to say nonstop over and over again. Inflation is still too high, but it's coming towards our target, but it's still too high. They're going to just keep being, standoffish and defensive in their answers or anything that they're saying. So, and their dot plots still stated 3 cuts this year. I don't know if that's going to matter or not, but, it could. . So you're still in on the short. I don't have it yet, but I like it. The 550 area. I mean, everything is still beaten down. I think might start trading the Russell. It's pretty clean on its moves. Just kind of been watching it over the last few days. Trying to add another asset to my playbook. See if you could hold your 60s. Hopefully you can get through the short down here. I don't have any entries. Yeah, Russell is just way cleaner the last few weeks. Everything here, all the moves, they stay within the range. Bounce, break, retest, break, break in these trend lines. These support levels are acting pretty clean. And then the moves are just, these are 5-minute candles. So, I mean, they're pretty just smooth moves, not a lot of chop, not a lot of whip. You could kind of identify some wick off highs at certain key areas. And then, really, I mean, you could take these levels and take them to the bank. A breakdown of this level here probably continues this all the way down to that 105. I mean, that's pretty predictable. I'm not ready to start trading it, and you might have just got stopped out, or you're very close to getting stopped at 60. You're just there, kind of just shy of 60. Hopefully you don't, and it melts off here, and you're good. But I did mention, like I said, I wanted this long here, rotate to the overnight high at the green line. That's my ultimate target there for a long bounce. Higher, low, breaking new highs. It could rotate down. If we rotate down, rotate back up. Oh, this one. So there's that resistance there on the that wedge. You do still have some wick room for this 30-minute to close, but you can see that acted as some pretty good support here. Like I said, I took this long right before I went to go bring my son to school, my oldest. Stopped myself at break even. It ran up pretty well. Now we're still continuing on. I took it as that 7:30-ish time frame tends to give us a good bounce if we're at support. I took it, like I said, broke even on it. Should have just set it and walked away and never came back to it because I had stops at lows. And then just let this thing kind of go, but got to stream, baby. Got to stream. Thank you. If this does break here, yeah. This does break. I don't want to say all-time highs because I don't think that's possible, but it is. Nothing's not possible. I think we just stay inside this range. Even to this 600 level, right? That 600 really could be that next short zone for me. You're waiting for that 30-minute close, which I like, but that's a while away. Which screen am I on? I am on the Russell screen still. That's the 5 on the Russell. Going back to the NQs. This is the 1 minute on the NQs. That Russell was the 5. The Russell and the ES I have over on 5. I usually have them on 30. I've been just watching some of the price action on 5. And then I watch a lot of my entry criteria at major key levels from daily, hourly, levels. And then I just like watching the intraday movements in the NQ. Just watch this forming here. Oop. Watch VWAP to act as support, and then see if it'll continue on upside, like I said. If not, you get a lower high here, get the delta to continue to make a lower high as well. Or if you try to make new highs and delta doesn't play along, the failure back down through could be a possibility as well. With the Russell now trying to push lows, S&P's ticked off on the opening range high and now is trying to rotate back downside some. So it's either a mug or a cup and handle. It's the you can see it here, the loop, and then a cup. It's a cup and a handle, breaking a structure level. You could even call this a reverse head and shoulders, break above. It's all good. So if your stop was at 60 and you were waiting to get the close, that 30-minute close could be a still in. I think with the Russell breaking down, I think that Russell, I like the way that man moves. That inside 5 and down, basically. It's not really quite that short there, breaking that low. These wicks just grabbing liquidity, still rolling down. S&Ps, you can see S&Ps here, failed that opening range high, looking to break down that opening range low. If it does break through that 5,300 and a quarter level, look out below. Look out below. Nope. Completely forgot that I had an order in on the take profit trader. Let's see where this ends up. I would love to see this thing melt off for you. Short, you have targets down below at the 62 level. Is that where you're looking to take it down to? Right here. Let's go. Let's 622. There you go. There's a little target for you. Absolutely. I think we crack through it. Like I said, this level here has been super important. I drew it up right pre-market just based on what I was seeing from the past. It had nothing to do with the pre-market stuff. It had to do with back on the breakout day. If this can break down a hold here, you can see it held its support. We chopped around it a bunch. It almost acted as a point of control here, right? Point of control, bounced up and down through it. It's still been acting as that support. So we need to get through that 30, basically, 29.50 and hold. You need to hold that level for this to actually confirm and I think give you a pretty good flush to the downside on that. Your target could, like I said, anything lower than this, I don't even think necessarily that opening range low, it needs to be the line in the sand. I think really you need to crack that 29 to give yourself a good push. But if it holds, there's definitely a buyer sitting here. Let's see what the Surface Dom has to say. I never know what it looks like. Sorry, give me a second. There it is. And I'm going to give you settings, 100. Okay, and now we're going to see what kind of orders do we see sitting below at that 30 level. You can see there's a 122 lot there sitting at 522. So you could see it here. This red line here is a large order just sitting there, 120. Above, we have a 125 overhead at 52. So this price wants to get drawn to either one of those ends, possibly up here. And that guy pulled his order, so that order is gone on the high side. Down below, we're trailing up some at 116, 150. So they're trailing up some larger size orders up below. Take that information and do with it what you want. But realistically, I think just be careful because it likes to run. Now you move that up there at 560. Yeah, this account's fucking burnt. I forgot that was there. Right here at 60, that's a large order sitting there on the ask. That order is sitting there at 175. Well, I don't know why it doesn't go live. It should just sit there. Here we go. So now that has moved down, right? That large order is at 117 lot sitting there. I'm going to do this on the full NQ because I like that a little bit better as far as liquidity is concerned. You can see them flashing orders above. This is the full NQ. I'm trading the micros, so you could see the larger the circle is, the bigger the fill. So these fills are larger, 4s, 10s. So just be cautious. You can see them. They flash out large orders, and then the orders disappear. Some bigger sells coming in there. Sellers came in hard there. That was pretty good. You should be in better shape now. Like I said, we cracked that 30 level. Could be a good time. I think your short was a great idea there. Holding below VWAP. Russell rolling. Everything's kind of rolling. We could take one more shot at a short through here. I might do that now. I'm going to wait. I am going to wait. I'm not just jumping in to just jump in. I saw that flush there. I have my trade. Yeah. You can see it here. But the breakdown, it's got to hold below this 530. Look at the S&Ps. Look at this. Just stuck here in this little range. You need to see if one of these directions is actually going to play out or not. If not, we're just going to stay stuck today. This short right here was a good idea. This break of this little fucking trend line thing. See, good thing I didn't hop in. Yeah, that's absolutely. If we fail this level again, $50 lot there. The yellow line's 38 lots. So price wants to get drawn to some of these larger orders, except they keep putting them in there and popping them out. 66 lot, 66 lot, keeps flashing up here. So price may want to get drawn to that larger lot size that keeps flashing. 525. Let's see if we could take that 530 breakdown here. S&P's popping higher. Russell breaking down, going right for that target at 105 right there. Yeah, I mean, I called that out on once that break happened. Right here, I said this breakdown here is pretty clean. Every breakdown's been pretty clean. Target to target, like I said. 2,105 there, probably a good target. May even get down into that 105 flat. Pretty just smooth sailing on this move. Now we're trying to push up higher, and we're out on that. I don't know. It's just very choppy. Stuck in the middle of this range here. It looks nice on the 1 minute for, some moves here. However, I just don't. I'm going to get rid of that. I don't need these lines. I do like this 530 level. Nah, that one's not good. Okay, so this counts. Done. Cool. Yeah, I got nothing to do here except for wait for this low to do something. Where is the entry short for you? Right here, right now? What do you have? Which EMAs you got? Ichimoku 1 minute. These 2 wicks there. That's your entry point, right? I knew nothing about Ichimokus or anything else. I try to keep it as simple as possible with just pure price action and levels from overnight and overnight and then prior days close and highs and lows. It's really what I use. Very simply. I don't know anything about the Ichimoku stuff or anything like that. It'd be cool to learn though. I'm always open to learning all the new stuff. It does have my VWAP has an upper and lower band, which I do sometimes like to use as targets as well, or kind of just an added support. You can kind of see that it works sometimes on certain setups, but this is slowing down. Price is slowing down. It's 9:20, almost about an hour in. I took that one trade. Yeah, we're at the VWAP starting from the overnight here. S&Ps just sitting right middle of their little range here. That's why I said a lot of times the overnight, the opening range breakout after rejecting an an overnight low would lend us to going long. However, this VWAP is just acting as complete resistance. If it does break above it, it may rock, continue on, give you that little bit of a bump, through this level here and into the highs. But realistically, there's nothing telling me that it should be a long. The VWAP is holding it down, holding it down. Russell's still pushing down to that 105 level. It's almost there. S&Ps is now trying to push down the lower end of this little, whatever you call it. I wouldn't even call it a wedge. It's just barcoding. I'm just kind of looking to see if there's anything that that 530 right here, right? Is this the time it breaks and actually goes? If this closes below here, then we can look to short it. Yeah. I'm going to take that short there with a Stop up there, but VWAP. Let's see if we can get this to rotate down now through. We held below 530 there on a closing basis. I would like to see it get now through this low here at 516. If I can get through that 516, then we should be able to take it to that overnight low, that red line, and then see what happens there again. Like you said, your target's down here, 62. I would love to see that as well. That'd be great. Let's see if we can hold this, get through this opening range low. Russell pushing down still. S&P's pushing down still. Heaviness is coming in. I think if we get through this low here, we're going to go to break even, and then we're going to see if we can let it run. I need to get it down to 516-ish, that level there. Holding it. It held it. It held it. Wicked above. Maybe try and grab some stops. Now try to roll downside. So we're going to say update our position board to short. $18,524. Well, our average price is actually 65 somehow because of the fills. So we're going to put that, even though it's almost impossible for that to be my entry price. It's got to hold this now. Holding that opening range low. S&P's catching a bit of a bounce here. Let's see. I think I don't think it's really going to act as support. I think if we can get through this overnight low here, we should be able, the overnight low, this opening range low, and then this wick down here, I think we can get through that. It's heavy. There's a chance that it cracks, gets us down to that low again. Russell just literally at 106.50, so hit off on that low exactly. So if we flush this low here, I'm gonna go to break even, but we gotta get to it first. I actually may want to go above this wick though, because if we do get above there, I don't want to be involved and in a pump. So this should go from here. If it doesn't go from here, I want to be out because I don't like to be involved in that. I'm kind of scalpy. It needs to get lower than that 516, 517 level, like you mentioned. Let's see if we can both bank on this one. Let's see. Holding it to that overnight low, that opening range low. I'll take 2 off there. There we go. There's the flush of that level. Now we're at break even, free trade. Let's see where it goes. Come on now. There she goes. Love it, asshole of ice cream. Great name and great trade so far. So good. Let's see if we can get this thing to now continue to flush downside. I'm going to take 2 off there just because I think just securing a little bit off of it is good for me. At the bottom here, I don't want to take it off yet. This is a high volume node at 510. Like I said, 510 before was the important area where I was watching for a bounce. It's a break-even trade, so worst case scenario, it's break-even for me. But overall, I think letting this thing kind of, if we do get to that low, I think a crack of that low may induce some good selling. Get down, get down, get down. Should not return. Oh man, Russell just absolutely flushed that level. Like I said, look at this. Look at that. Look at that beautiful flush on the Russell. You cracked that low there, and you have not looked back since. Those wicks too. Once you saw that breakdown, I said 105 was the target. We're down to 100. Nasdaq is just now ticking upside, so we're probably gonna run and get stopped out. There we go. We got stopped out. Great. So flat for now. Still up 90 on that because we made $6.50 on that there, basically covered our fees. So we're flat, break even. I'm going to copy this so I don't have to type it out every time. Oop, flat. Could have took 2 off there at that 10 level. I know that 10 level was acting as support. I didn't quite think about it. It is what it is. So we're gonna watch this 10 level again. I mean this 530. That could be a sweep based on the way Russell just got to its lows and is bouncing, and now S&P is also bouncing from its lows. That's why I took it out, because I knew that this was probably, if this level here does crack that 32s, then we probably rotate even higher, and I wasn't going to take a full loss on that trade. So to take a break even on it, I'm cool with that. You just want to be able to hold that for follow through, right? You can't not let it get to that low. Yeah, I usually use those volume nodes for myself as an area of, if they're there, they will get, price will get drawn to it, and then it makes a decision, either resistance or support. So it's just, there was a lot of orders here. There's thinness here, so there wasn't a ton of orders here. So that hard flush through the thin levels of orders makes it seem like it's going to at least get drawn to right here at that area where a ton of orders were sitting. So yeah, it is technically, it makes a decision, not necessarily if it's going to be support or resist. I don't use the volume nodes as areas of where I'm going to support or resist. I just use it as information of where price will get drawn to. I would consider shorting this based on this sort of wedge, and then failing this and holding below 30. But if this breaks above here, you do have a chance to continue to run to the high side. But that's just the thought process behind that. The volume nodes is more like, price wants to get drawn to it, right? This 540 level seems like an area where price has spent a ton of time. Price will like to go back to it and see if there are orders there still, or if orders are, like I said, if it breaks this level, this is the point of control. So obviously we've came right back to the point of control again. So it's not necessarily support and resistance using the volume nodes. It's just using the volume nodes as more of a magnet to say, all right, price wants to get drawn to this 540 level. It'll probably get to 540, right? It'll tick off 540 right where, or get right to it. And then once it gets there, more people will come in and get involved, and it's either going to go long through that level, or it's going to act as a resistance and start to get short. But that's just an area where more people have been interested in either buying or selling. It doesn't say either one. It doesn't say support or resistance. It just says there has been a lot of executions at this price level. So for me, volume nodes aren't support and resistance or anything like that. They're just magnets for price, right? And if price wants to get drawn to those areas, or if there's areas where there's not a ton of volume, it usually will kind of just run right through those areas, because there's just not a ton of interest of price action happening there, right? And you can see it kind of play out here. Low volume node, it swept through it. So price has been here more than one time, but every time it gets to this area here between 517 and 512, it seems to just be a larger body candle, right? Price just runs right through it. There might not even be executions at these levels. They might just be skipping those prices to get to an order that's up here. I think that's a misconception as well. Like if you zoom in here, you can see this is just the amount of orders executed. Just because price is going to here doesn't mean that there's actually an order in between. It just may mean that, all right, there's an ask and a bid, and they get filled, and they meet, and they jump that level at 590. If there's no order at 590 or 529, right, there's no need for it to be executed. It just jumps it. So these candles are they're tricky, because like you'll see a body, right, and you think, oh, there's orders all the way through this. There's not necessarily orders through this. That just means that price was executed at some point in that level, if that makes sense. failed breakout. Still holding that opening range low. I don't really feel like taking that here yet. Again, I'm gonna wait for my level to come into play. Like I said, I'm not a very big middle of the range type trader. I like to try and get to those extremes and overnight high, overnight lows, and fade them to the other end, especially in a range type day. Today seems like it's going to be very choppy the rest of the day, or if it does pick a direction, once it does pick that direction, it is a Friday. Fridays tend to be they'll get into a direction and they'll start to go that way and kind of continue on. So maybe if we do break the low and we start to continue lower, then you can take a short and continue on. But for me, I'm going to wait for that setup because I don't have the I shouldn't be taking these middle of the range close to VWAP trades. That's just not my entry criteria. I hope I mean, like I said, that'll play us out. Getting down into here, your short makes sense. This gets me to my area where I'm interested, and you make money on the downside, and I could potentially make money on flipping it long once that lower end rotate. Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, with the way the market's been lately, it hasn't been giving me the good follow throughs on some of those levels like you're mentioning. With the breaks of these supports, or it feels like it wants to break. We just made another higher low. We have actually started to develop this little bit of a wedge. So if it does crack here, maybe you do get that flush follow through to the low. It's just unreal. Like every time you think, all right, this short should come in now, it's got to come in now. It just continues to rip your face off. So I think that's what's been so difficult lately for me. Plays that have worked for me and worked for me really, really well have not quite worked out as well as they should have. And then I try and hold them for the same period that I've held them in prior, and then I get back and stopped out. And get stopped out right here. Like I could have easily taken this down here and took off $100. Didn't. Was waiting for that flush. Could get the flush here now. SPX, you had it at 5,300. It's at 5,235. I think there's targets all the way down to this gap, to be honest. Just to clean up that chart. I don't think charts like to be too sloppy. What's SPY look like? Yeah, it does not look good. Apple, Microsoft. Microsoft's still pushing down that low. Where's that 428? Oh, my lines just disappeared. That's good. I'm sure it'll come back. NVIDIA holding 918. 928 I had this at. 928.80 was that that line in the sand for Microsoft. Is holding below that 928 level, so bearish on Microsoft. Apple got a little bit of a bounce, but is at resistance at 171, 172. That area there, that pre-market area. NVIDIA. Nvidia is starting to roll. There's that breakdown of the S&Ps, but we're still at resistance here. You would think it would finally continue, but does it feel like there's like not a ton of volume coming into this market right now? The volume is just, it's not there. It seems kind of illiquid right now and just slow and draggy. Sorry. I apologize for the coughing. Couldn't clear my throat. I think I agree. I definitely agree with you. I'm a perma bear in my thoughts on the market. Just something about the way market's been acting is in slower days, it tends to just give you some sort of face rip rally for no reason, especially on Fridays. And, I don't understand it, but it just does it, and it does it, and it does it. We have made now a higher low on the NASDAQ. You made that higher high. If this makes another higher low, I mean, it made a lower low here, but as far as the 5 minutes concerned, let's see. 5 minute higher low, right? Still rejecting that little bit of a wedge there. This is more of a significant thing here. Bum, 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 bum. That's more supportive there. You could see that level sort of holding up. Yeah, until it doesn't. I gotta just stay solvent until I can take my short. I'm a little mad about yesterday because I did have that short from the very, very top, and like I said, I had to go run out and leave, and I have my day job that I gotta go to, so I had to go take care of some things prior to going to work. Left, and then the move happened. So today I'm waiting to see if I can get this, be patient on it, let it play out. You can maybe see this thing start to crack here. Yeah, it should continue down. I agree. Yeah, absolutely. It's a breakdown, retest, breakdown. There's your flush. That's good right there for your short. I dig it. 278.06. I don't know what that is. Sorry, not answering the phone. Busy. I like the analysis there. I think you're spot on. I think you're Ichimoku and whatever you need. You got your stop at a good location. Waiting for that 30-minute close was a really good patience test there. So being short from the top there is a beautiful, beautiful move. Hopefully you can just continue to hold on to it. Like I said, I wanted to see this break this and then rotate to the other end. But everything is breaking lower. It's not giving me a really big, hard flush that I can trust as downside for myself. That's just me. Yeah, I would have too. Using VWAP as stop, that would have been still in. Oh, always. That's the whole goal is to try and continue to do better, execute better. This Russell, I love it. Gotta start trading the Russell. Next week I may just do a couple Russell trades just to get the feel for it, but it's pretty much respecting levels. It sets up really nicely, and on the breakdowns it works out really nice. So I'm gonna watch the Russell. I'm also watching the S&Ps right now for the rejection of a breakdown of the low. If it does break the low, like I mentioned, the 290 level is going to be that the bounce point. I think if we can bounce off of 290, which probably brings this down into this range, like you mentioned, and then try and get that rotation back up if it does not continue to flush. Yeah, I've traded both. I've traded a lot of different things. Um, Today I'm just tighter because of my lack of follow through on a lot of the moves. Most of the time I like to be a little bit wider on these and then just catch quick moves. But I'm trying to get into the habit of catching a little bit. Yeah, not bad. I mean, up 90, just kind of being really patient. Took 2 executions, 1 break even, 1 I took early on the breakdown. Looking to catch right to where we're at right now. So looking to see if we can get another bounce play, but I'm kind of just being patient on it. I really want to get some manipulation going. I want like a liquidity sweep below the low and then maybe look to get a long. But if not, I'm not really trying to fight into something at the moment. Yeah, I agree with this sentiment here with the asshole ice cream. I normally am leaving my stops a little bit wider on that, but I'm in a drawdown period, so I'm kind of. It also is a bad way to be trading as well.
Gotta go pee-pee.
You gotta go pee-pee. I gotta take the kid to the bathroom. Give me 1 minute. All right, we are back. Yeah, they really are. I mean, like I said, it's hard to say that this market wants to flush when it just doesn't give you those good breaks. The S&Ps just broke the lows. That 5-minute candle actually held there. So if we get another 5-minute that breaks above that 93 and holds, then maybe it continues to rotate higher. But I do think we have to 90 for a bounce. '89s, I guess. You can see S&Ps here. That's what I'm watching. Sometimes you can't see what I'm looking at because I'm on 3 different. It's all one screen. It's a large screen, but I'm watching this level here. Here's your Russell. Absolutely melting. I'm going to assume that all the small caps are just having a red bloodbath type day. Yeah, it's just not a good day to. Realistically, it's not a good day to trade unless you get your entry up here like you did and just leave it alone. There's just not a ton of volume going into the market right now. My thought is if we do get through the low and you rotate, like a day like today where it's slow and grinding and you're not getting a ton of follow through on any sort of move either way, the taking that rotation back to the other end seems more likely to me, and that's why I take these types of moves. I'm looking for it to give me that one push down. I really would not like it to break out right here. I want it to give me a little bit more patience. You went 30-minute entry off of the support down here, right? The what was your entry? 56? No. 48. So using the base of this reversal here as resistance. So do you have an emergency stop that you leave out? So let's say it run. You just close. What if it closes like let's say at 80? You just close at 80 on a closing basis. That's good. That makes sense. Sweet. Nvidia's starting to curl again. Microsoft, see if it's holding up. 427 bounce again. See if that 427.15 level is holding. If it does flush, then I think you get a nice little push down. I don't know where to, maybe down even to these lows, but realistically probably down to 425-ish. If it does hold and continue to rotate, you guys see that bounce back through 428.80. Like I mentioned, that bullish area is, to me, that's the line that kind of separates me from buying and selling there. That 428.80, 429 level. It's acted pretty supportive. And then I have all the way down here, that 412, that 406.18 played really nice while it was down there. We're back up into this area up here where these levels make a lot of sense. But like I said, if that flushes, then this continues to go. So watch Microsoft. If you get Microsoft to crack, then your trade should continue on. Apple's just a dick. Rejected the high. There you go. I'm guessing that Microsoft probably broke too. It's right at it at 4027. There's a breakdown of it. Should break this down some. Russell's still continuing its march to the downside. S&P's holding that 5291. There's the flush of Microsoft. If that's just going to be a wick off bottom, we'll find out. What is the news on Microsoft? And I was bullish on Alphabet to raise the target price. Google, Apple business model might need a hard reset. The old antitrust. Still holding a support here. Like I said, this breakout, I didn't want to see this happen right there. Obviously, that's what's leading to that failure. Just never flushed the low to get me involved here. 9:52. I'm going to wait till after 10 to even think about executing anything. So whatever happens at 10. What do you use for your opening range? I use the first minute. 522.75 is the the opening range of on a minute basis. If you use a 15-minute, then yeah, 500. You go 30-minute opening range. I dig it. I usually don't even like to take many trades very, very early. Usually, my better executions come between 10 and noon on the in Central Time. Delta's starting to creep up some, but we are not quite like you. Maybe you're making a little smaller head and shoulders again here for another leg to the downside. I'm not really like a pattern person per se. I just like to adjust some of these trend lines. They do work of late. It's very interesting how these trend lines tend to play out. Russell down to 95 potentially. Next target 95. That Russell is a thing of beauty. Way smoother. It's clearly, man. I mean, it plays out day after day after day. And for anybody that says they don't work, I mean, all you got to do is look at these charts. Why would it possibly do this, right? Like every single day, all the time, hold these levels. Because people use them, and it is math, right? Like mathematically speaking, it has a lot to do with if price is going to go down, it's going to go up X number of percentages, and it does return back, and price just jumps back and forth to people wanting to sell and buy and sell and buy, and until that pattern breaks, then that trend line will break. You're starting to get a lower basing here. Let's see a 5-minute. It's all useful. If you get a 5-minute inside bar here, this one's outside. If you can get this 5 here to close and then short that low, you could get that low. But this needs to be an inside bar. It can't break above or below. If you get basing patterns like this, usually in the way of the trend, you've rested some. This now third 5-minute candle potentially wants to rest. It'll be an hourly close as well. I don't like to trade into the hourly close. Games are canceled tonight. Oh. I can't make an entry within 5 minutes of an hourly close. That's my rule for myself. Yeah. I just wait till the hourly close before I get into an entry. This is really where I like to say we're going to hold this area. I want to see you see this candle here. And then you also get a sweep of this low, so potentially that this may continue on because it got these longs involved. It stopped them out below the low, and now it's rotating back. If you get a new high, then potentially this could be the other end of the V here. But like I said, I don't take any entries up until the hourly close. I like to see where this hourly half hour is going to close. So give me 1 minute. I'm going to run real quick, get a cup of coffee. DayTradingCoffeeCo.com. I will bring the boys to a Law Dog game. If you can send me a schedule, I'll take a look at it. they have their own games now, so I am a contrarian type trader, not necessarily long term contrarian, but an intraday. I just like to fade extremes. It's more of a extreme, one end of the extreme or the other. Usually, if it's going to be a rangy day, a lot of times breakouts fail. I mean, I never really played breakouts, so if you have Sunday day like morning games, I can go to the morning games. The boys' games are usually Saturdays. One minute left, and then I can make a decision on if I want to go long or short, which I'm not going to go short right now. So I want to see, like I said, I want to see a grab below here, and then a return back, and then that's where I want to start to look for my long. Just Sunday. You don't play any other day? Sunday league? All right, it's 10 a.m. I want to see if we can get a little bit of a whippy action here. Like this is not something I want to trade. I don't want to trade this because I know I'll try and get long over the top. It'll come down, I'll stop you out. I'll try to get short, stop you out. Thought process wise, I'm looking to try and take the long. This is holding here. Broke that. Confirm on it. S&P holding that 89.50 level. Yeah, 520 loves to hold that level. I'm not looking to go long right this second. I'm looking to see this break. Like I said, I want a whippy bottom, and I want to see if it's going to be a failed breakdown or if it's going to be actual continuation. I can't justify entering in the middle of the ranges, like I said. Just based on my strategy working out properly, I need more of a descending wedge or something like that. Like yesterday, I'll go back to I'll go to a 15 just so I can go back to yesterday a little bit better. That all-time high. Actually, you know what? I got to go to the 5. I trade on the 1. We'll just do the 1, and then we'll go 3 days. So yesterday's all-time high level is here. I had the previous level set. Where were we? Yeah, we were trying to trade this here. So we had that all-time high made. Then the previous all-time high was somewhere down in this range here. So I was looking to get something of this nature, right? Where you get a break above the previous high. You go up into that all-time high level. You don't quite break it. You don't have that follow-through on it. And you're getting this little bit of a rising wedge type deal. And you get a failure of that and a failure of the previous all-time high level, right? You get a double wick. And then I had it here with the delta divergence. And I broke even on it because I wasn't going to risk breakout of the all-time high, which would end up happening. I left, did what I did. And then you could see that move obviously playing out. I was initially targeting VWAP as the initial, that 600 level, and then would have been down into my goals were that overnight high. Never really made it there during the session, I don't believe. It did actually. Where are we at? This is a 12. No, it would have made it there, yeah. Oh, no, I switched it. I'm sorry. So this is last night's overnight. I adjusted already. The overnight the high was down here from the previous day high is what I was targeting. Previous day's highs was down here. Didn't quite make it there. We've made it there now, and we're looking to see if we can continue to accept below. But you can see, obviously, you have a little bit of a divergence going here, right? Price was going down, Delta was kind of continuing up. Then you start to get the grind up, no real follow through, and now you're popping above that 20 level, like you mentioned. And now we're starting to turn upside. Target one would have been VWAP, so you're at VWAP now. I just didn't have the final confirmation on the breakdown there to get into myself long. You know, you're still safe if you're still at your normal stop. But that 20 level breaking is kind of important. Like you mentioned, you could see it kind of broke out with some volume, with some delta push. I just don't use VWAP as an entry criteria. I use it as a target most of the time, as a first target from my mean reversion. But like I said, I wanted this to get a little bit deeper before I got into this long, just because of the heaviness of everything else. You could see S&Ps to the tick 589.50 bounced right off of that. So, you know, I could have played the buy off of that rejection for my entry. Now I've missed the entry, obviously, and we're looking at the Russell trying to curl back up as well, up to 2101, holding above 2100. And the NASDAQ is stronger than all the rest, right? The opening range is here on the NASDAQ, still close to those highs on the day, while the S&Ps and the Russell, you can see S&Ps opening range is up here, Russell opening range is up here. We aren't quite near those levels yet, while the NASDAQ, we are sitting at those opening range highs. So it is leading, it is higher. So we are in the stronger of the three. Got it. I got the schedule. Sweet. Yeah, like I said, I think the volume is super low today. That's a good reason to change your tune. I just think it's a super low volume day, totally, to be honest. But so this is my trade idea. This is usually what works out for me. I usually don't like to see it give me like a rising wedge, because obviously that could lead to a solid breakdown. We saw that here on the Russell. But like I said, most of the time my strategy calls for a long from that overnight low area to VWAP. You know, that's usually when I get that full move that happens pretty quick, and obviously that's where it happened there. I didn't take it, so we're just kind of sitting on our hands, waiting to see what happens here at VWAP, see if this continues to change its tune into more of an uptrend. This doesn't matter anymore. This doesn't really matter much, but I am going to hold on to it. It did end up being a breakout point there. I'll leave it. Fuck it. I don't need that. This price action, like I said, it could be just rangy today. We were talking about it back here, how, you know, we spent so much time right around this 529, 530 level. It was basically just dead center of my opening range here. We've bounced back and forth, up to the high, created that little head and shoulders right on top of it, broke down, came right to that overnight low again, rotated back to VWAP. Now we're right at the VWAP area. You know, are we going to just base out the whole day and then finally get an opportunity to get out of this in either direction? You know, if we get a whip above that 52, could you short through there again? You had your 48 entry there. You know, that 50 level, you wicked it again. Maybe you wick it one more time, make a lower high, rotate down, just stay within the range. These are kind of things I think about while I'm trading, while I'm using the analysis of just what today's personality is, and trying to just maximize the profits on that kind of the day that it is. Obviously, this move here was nice, but this was what I was waiting for. Waiting for this to get here. It just didn't give me that wiki bottom, and I had to wait till 10. So once 10 o'clock came around, we were here. We still weren't close enough. We were indecisive. We accepted back above 20. And now we're rotating down some from VWAP. Obviously, look, you can see VWAP is just purely a resistance level here. How long you been trading, asshole ice cream? All right. Looks like mom's home, man. Max. Hey.
Hey, Mommy, yeah.
Say hi to mommy.
Why have you milk?
She has a package. Did you get the? That I gotta check and see if that other thing is here. I didn't get that thing yet. The peeler. There's the push above. So like I said, most of the time on days like today, especially like this, where you have very grindy downside action for myself, this is just my strategy. Everybody has their own rules and ideas. You could kind of see here too. I mean, a little head and shoulders type deal. So if this does reject here, the next touch of that level could break and flush down. You got vitamins? Oh yeah.
Not two.
No?
Yes.
Mine?
No.
Yours? Enzo's?
Yes.
Oh.
I already have one.
Oh, you already had yours. But I do like to do. This is my entry criteria here. I was long here, break even. We shorted through there. Wanted to go long here. Didn't long here. 3 times it could have played and been perfectly fine. And to no avail. What?
Do you need espresso?
If you're making espressos, I'll take one. And if anybody needs espresso, head over to daytradingcoffeeco.com and use code policingpips for 15% off. Yeah, you can take the iPad. You're cool. Look at that choppy mess. Holding now above VWAP. Still trending to the downside, but a very flat day, right? Rangy. So any sort of breakout here, is it trustworthy? Not necessarily, but like I said, my targets from these lows on an overnight rotational basis is overnight low to overnight high. That red line to that green line is what I'm trying to target. Obviously, there's zones there. You can see that line below and that line above. So anything, that 94 level was huge resistance overnight, right? So it just needs to get out of this range that it's in right now. A failure of 52.96 on the S&Ps could rotate us back downside here. This could be a failure here. Take it on a light side. Here we go. The S&P's 5-minute candle is going to close in about 30 seconds. Looks like it wants to close below that level. If it can close below 94 to 96, let's call it 95.50. Close it below 95.50, there's a chance that it starts to rotate off of that trend line breakdown and could rotate this whole thing back to the downside. Russell just broke the low. This VWAP could act as support, but we did it once before. We may do it again here. You are getting delta to roll. Why am I getting a spinning wheel here? What's loading? Don't like that. Since it's not my normal strategy, I am going to take the short, but I'm going to take it light here. I'm going to take it light. I'm going to use that stop. Just throwing it up there above the highs. We're short 2. Short 2 MNQ at 18,541.75. I took a light position on it because it's not my normal strategy, but it is a very rangy type day, and I think holding that 552 and a quarter kind of just lets us know that we are not ready to break out. We got the rejection on the ES. If the ES can break that 52.93.50 level, if we go over to the S&Ps, you can see it rejected that initial breakdown trend line there. We need to get below that 52.93.50 level, which we look like we're doing now. If we could flush that, that's going to carry us downside here, right? You got the Russell doing the same thing, went up to 2101, rotating back downside, and now NQ following up downside as well. So we are happy with that move. We need to watch 30 though. That 30 has been support. If we can break through that 30, then we can continue this downside pressure. If we get back above 55, we're gonna hammer out manually. This stop is the emergency stop in case it does decide to just give me a blow off top. Holding below VWAP, below VWAP. We get through 30. Again, I'm going to go to break even or start to consider break even as the 55. I'll move the actual stop to 55 because if it breaks above there, I would like to be out. And then let this kind of dance around, see if it gets to the lows and does what we wanted it to do for the true long on the break above, right? So currently we're looking to try and hit off on that there. If we're going to be rangy, then we're going to be rangy. And this is going to continue to rotate, give us that full rotation once again. So we're safe. As long as the price holds below VWAP, we are safe on this short. Not getting followed through. Kind of don't like that. I wanted to break that 30 level. I got some chocolate from the sun. If your boy gives you chocolate, you gotta eat it. That's the rule. S&P's trying to hold that 93.50. If it does, then we got to get out of this probably. If it's going to bounce off of that 93.50 level. Made new lows on the delta. There are sellers here that want to be involved. Let's see if we can get them through that 30 level though. Like I said, if I get down through 30, then I'll move my stop above 55, which is that high right here. If we get above it and we start to flush back down through it again, maybe I'll add to the short. Build into this position for a longer rotation down to the downside. If S&P gets above 95 and holds, that's going to be a problem for us. It's little tiny head and shoulders here. If you're a pattern trader, if it gets through this low here right now, then maybe it gives a little bit of a pop down. Using VWAP as a resistance level, it seems. Now you got a higher low on the Russell. Got a wick on the bottom. If Russell starts to pile in some longs, then we maybe have to get out as well. Russell's been kind of leading us downside. Microsoft still holding below 427, which is good for the shorts. Nvidia, probably a moon mission. There it is. In spite of Nvidia doing this, price has been selling. So if any selling comes into Nvidia, then we should get some more selling coming in. There's your Microsoft. Looking to see if it'll continue lower. 425.94, 426 even. S&P's back up to those highs at 95. Wicking it. Wicked it, wicked it. If it starts to pop off, I'm going to have to get out. Yeah, exactly. It seems like a long trap. It's just not following through. There's not so much to push through. So I'm giving it some room on smaller size. Yeah, if it gets below, I probably will add down through 30. If we get above 55 and then back down through, then possibly look to rotate it back down. Apple looking to break highs. Microsoft still holding that low. And Nvidia is back to the moon mission that it always likes to go on. Dragging us upside day after day after day. That kind of move on Nvidia really kills my vibe. Enjoy your lunch there. Ice cream in. Espresso time.
You haven't done one?
Last night when I got home.
You want one?
No, I'm good.
That's good.
Yeah, Max gave it to me, so I gotta have it.
What in a nice list? No, what in a nice?
Yeah, why not? I want to see this S&P sell off from here. That'd be really nice. If the S&P sells, then our Nasdaq will go. It's just they're kind of working together, obviously, but it seems like the S&P is sort of leading higher, and that's my we did start to lead lower. It did flush that 93 level, 93.50, and it got right back above it. We wicked it. I need to see this fail this higher end. Otherwise, we may rotate back. Like I said, that overnight high was my target for the rotation, but I needed to get a wick of the bottom. So realistically, I wanted to see this come back down one more time. Give that to me one more time here. That works. Thank you. You have a good time? Yeah? Good. Delta not getting above the highs. Could be that nice lower high here. If we can get the wick off of that 552, maybe get the rejection there, and then rotate down lower. But S&Ps and the Russell both trying to catch bids here. I want to see it fail this low one more time. That's where I want to add a little more if we do get this. If we get a wick above here and then rotate down, like I said, then we can potentially look to get the short higher up. Okay, so there's the push above that 55 level. Let's see if we can get down now through the low, back through there. Not through the low, but through this 52s. Like the false break there. We did get a delta push that was congruent. That did push up higher, but I think the rotation down. Yeah, I think that's probably likely. Like I said, if it closes up here, I will hammer out as well. But I think we do still have that opportunity to get another sell side move. Just kind of looking at these other indexes, the S&Ps is trying to hold that 96, but if it does break down below that 95, 96 level, then this and NASDAQ will continue downside. And if we can get any of these names to rotate down, like Apple or NVIDIA, if Apple could catch a rejection here at this high, then we could be good. And Microsoft needs to just reject and stay below 427, then we should still try and rotate down some. Enjoy. Enjoy the lunch. I'm going to stay here and grind it out, so I got to go to work. S&P trying to reject that 95, 96. There it goes. I'm adding 2 right here. 10:30. Come on, 30-minute candle hold here. $30 left on this 30-minute candle. S&P's pushing higher now. Looks like things are pushing upside a bit, except for Microsoft, not quite pushing upside. Apple failing the high. Nvidia also just trying to take a second of a breather. 6 seconds left on the close. Can it close below that 52 level? If it does, then potentially we could get this short back in here. 10:30. Looks like it wants to continue on to the upside. Come on, now down. Yeah, I'm going to leave that there. I don't want to risk more than that on that with the add-on. We're going to let that stop us out if it does. If not, we're going to leave the stop there and just run it downside. If it can get that rotation over back to low, be a beautiful thing. If not, we're probably going to just continue to rip our face off once again on another Friday of, let's see how much we can burn ourselves. Yeah, I'm trying to short. I'm looking to see if this thing will fade this high here. It just seems like that's what it wants to do, be rotational, but at the same time, it's getting very whippy up here, and it wants to it's thinking about breaking out above 60. I think if it breaks above 60, we're probably going to be stopped out anyway. Can I leave this wick at the high? What's the difference in price? Not much. Might as well just risk the full 160, 170. See if we can rotate this down now. This needs to crack here. It's holding this little like launch pad here. Needs to crack this now. Let's break down the 552 level. If we can break down the 552 level, we should get some selling to come in. Microsoft's still selling. Apple trying to sell off on the highs. If Nvidia can just give back some of this momentum, then we could actually get this to rotate down. But it seems like Nvidia just wants to continue to push us through highs over and over and over again. Nvidia, Russell's starting to tick back down again, which kind of gives me the hope that this does pull back some and give us that rotation back down. Normally, I'm not looking to take this kind of trade. That's why I sized down some. I did add a second contract, still less than full size, but still have a full size stop loss up here. So technically not really risking less. But if we do get down below and into where close to our break-even point, then we could get our stop back above these highs and mitigate some risk on it. But really, the Nvidia is what's keeping us up because everything else is beaten down. Microsoft is selling off, Russell's selling off, Apple's selling from the highs. I think I need Apple to continue to push down some, and Nvidia can catch up to us selling some here. I have nothing to the left here on Nvidia until right where we're at. We're at that resistance. So if this is the time for it to sell off, it's going to happen right now. Right? So Nvidia should resist this level some, and then maybe get our rotation down through 52. 52 was my little breakout point there that I was kind of looking to fade. And you can see it's just gaining strength, because Nvidia just doesn't give up. And Apple and Microsoft pushing lower really, it kills me, because everything else on a normal day, this is correct, right? We're fading, we're rotating, everything's rotating off the lows. I mean, my long idea was to rotate to the highs, but we've been stuck in this consolidation here, right? So this consolidation short was what I was trying to take a shot at. So far, we're kind of sitting in a little bit of drawdown on it, but nothing crazy. We're just kind of, it's just not following through, while it should be following through because of Microsoft and Apple. And Nvidia is the rocket man, right? It's been carrying this market to the high side really irrationally. And that's what's been kind of getting me caught up in some shit, I guess. We are at this resistance level here for the NQs. Shouldn't break the highs if it's not going to play this wedge breakout. You can see Nvidia broke this resistance there. It has up into here and beyond because it's Nvidia. We're back down to that 52. We need to get through that level for it to start to flush, right? Then we got to get through VWAP. VWAP's really the key level here, down to 530. So that's what we're looking at right now. We're trying to get a rotation back to the lows since it just wants to do that over and over and over again. This is that rising wedge that I like to play a short of, so hopefully we can get down through. There's a little gap down. So now we are close to break even on this. I don't want to move my stop quite yet. I want to let this thing play out, let it breathe, let it do its thing, because the thesis should be there. If Nvidia does continue to roll over, then we should be in better shape. NASDAQ does have down to the lows. Nvidia just needs to stop doing what it's doing. Nvidia is a real jerk. Microsoft still below lows. Apple rolling. And Nvidia is trying to reject that level there. So if Nvidia can reject that level, then hopefully we could get this to now. If Nvidia could give any of this back, this NQ goes to. The S&P is holding. I got to change this to short 4 from... What's our actual entry, average entry? 544.62. 544. I'll call it 75. If this is going to hold, it should not recover back above this 560. So really, if we get above 560, we should hammer out manually. S&Ps is trying to crack that 95 again. If we can get through 95 on the S&Ps, NQ goes. That's just how this works. Are we getting lightning again? God damn. It's just nonstop out here today. The last few days. Give me a second. That was false. It was a light. It was a glitch in the light. All right, Nvidia giving up some of that little bit of a gain. Hopefully this rejection point can be the spot where we can get our position to now flush, but we are kind of just sitting at break even with it. We have to watch VWAP. If VWAP has to not be support right now. So let's wait and see. S&P's is rolling. S&P's is rolling. S&P's is rolling. Let's see if we can continue down. The Russell is also pushing downside, which is good for us. Nvidia still selling. NQ pushing to the lower end. I think we have down to that 36 before, which is that VWAP basically is a point of control. I got to use the bathroom real quick. Let's see if this will flush or if it's not going to hold. You done? Mommy, he's done. You go. All right, VWAP break. Come on now. Time to go, VWAP. Like I said, 60, it shouldn't get above. I'm leaving my stop above there. But I think we can let this thing bounce a bit. Nvidia trying to rotate. We need Nvidia to continue to push down. We're still safe on the 30-minute. 553 is the high end of the 30-minute candle body, which will turn it from red to green, which is that yellow line there, which is our important level. Microsoft caught a little bit of a bounce there. Apple trying to bid up some. These guys. Be impatient with that stop at the high over there. High of the day. Something says it's going to be a rotational lower. I got some confirmation from the ice cream man there. I think realistically holding this through the VWAP, if we can get to this 29 level, I'll be very interested in what's going to happen there. If you flush this 29 again, I think the lows obviously come in, but like it's going to be a quick run. You see how this was a quick run up? I think we get a quick run down if you get through that 30. Microsoft bidding. Apple a little bit. I need Nvidia to continue to push downside. Nvidia is obviously the leader that holds us up. If this can go, I mean everything else in the market I'm guessing is down. Do we have a heat map on the I don't know. Doesn't matter to me, really. Let's see. Heat maps. There we go. That's not heat maps. What the fuck's wrong with this? Here's your heat map for the NASDAQ. NVIDIA and Apple both green, Amazon neutral, Costco red, Google green, up 2.5%, Microsoft down. These are the heavy weighted. So these guys need to give some back. NVIDIA, give me that. Give it up. NVIDIA could just sell off for the rest of its life. I would never care. Lose Nancy Pelosi all of her money. That'd be nice. For me. There's the break of VWAP. We need to get through this level here. See if we can get through it and push now. S&Ps needs to also get through the level that it's at right here. Can't bounce from 94s. Is this a wick off bottom of VWAP and then rotating us back higher? If it is, we're going to kind of hammer out at 55. But if this is a flush, then we should get a rotation back to the lows. Just kind of waiting on it, being standoffish a little bit. I want to keep my full position on. I don't really want to take off any yet. I want to rotate down to 502 and then get a decision down there. That's really what I want. Do I get it? I don't know. Hate your VWAP. We've been just dancing around this VWAP. Unfortunately, it's just like, it just doesn't want to give me that break. Over here, you got it as a chop and a bounce, chop and a bounce. Can we get a chop and a break? That's the thing that we're looking for here. See if we can break through this VWAP. We're still short. We're still holding. I think we kind of get invalidated if we hold above 55. Just kind of waiting. The Russell's looking to roll over again from 101. If Russell rolls over, then it's been sort of leading us downside today. Maybe it'll carry us down, but NVIDIA has been so strong. NVIDIA has been holding us up. Microsoft trying to catch a bounce, but I think holding under that 427 does keep us the low, but it's creeping up on it. Apple trying to rip off the top again, even in the antitrust world. We got a really good flush there twice and then no follow through, but the delta was good. Price was good. Like I said, overnight highs was my target for the long from the bottom, but this 552 level was pretty important. If this 30-minute goes red to green, then we're going to have to probably bang out, but we do have 15 minutes left in that candle. I just don't want to see this hold above here, because this a hold above 55 doesn't give me the confidence. But a breakdown of this level here, right here, get rid of this. That worked out really well. That's short there. But like I said, I'm not rushing my stop. I think the high of the day is probably important for the day. S&Ps and Russell are nowhere near even the opening range, let alone the high of the day. NASDAQ is sitting above its opening range, above VWAP. I want to see if it could get back down below and give us that full rotational, just inside. Shitty day for anybody who's looking for continuation. You know, you got a fail breakout here, looking to rotate back down again. Try to break out, failed at 52 again. If you break this low now and VWAP, then I'm looking for that good hard flush of that 530 level. The 30 minutes still looks bearish. I mean, it still looks like it's rejecting its this little trend line here. Could stay within this wedge one more time, and that's really what I'm looking for. Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia. Nvidia looking to try and push that high again. Almost makes me want to add below here again, but I'm not going to add. I'm just going to let this position play out. We've been getting ourselves kind of caught up in ads and just getting ourselves break even instead of just leaving our position to play out and then securing profits as we go. Obviously, you can't make tons of money when you don't add. You know, you want to build your position up as big as possible to get to wherever you end up going, because those are when you get your winners. However, you can't rely on them in this current environment. It seems like it's a very much a base hit environment. There's the break above 55. Is this now going to be a continuation? Looks like it's getting strong here. Close above here. We're going to flatten ourselves. Looks like it's wicking that. Still okay on the 30. Didn't close yet. Nvidia still pushing up. Apple. Microsoft. I need Microsoft to reject this level here. If we do get below this into our below our entry price, that's a good sign for this to be a continuation. But if it does kind of hold above this wick, then we got to just hammer out. I want to be out at the high of that at least. I don't want to get whipped. Apple broke the high. This seems wick off to me. More of a manipulation at 552. Let's see if we can get down below our entry now. If we do get down below our break even, our stop's going to go right above 57, because I think this should induce some sellers to come in. If it doesn't, then we want to just really get out on some manipulation, because you can see Apple pumping, Nvidia still trying to hit those highs, Microsoft trying to curl off the bottom and got above 427. So there's some strength coming in, and you can see that 30-minute going from red to green and now looking to break out. That 57 is the breakout point from the previous candle, previous 30-minute candle. So that 57 on the 30-minute, 57.50. If we go closing basis like ice cream, then we can be patient on this 30. We have 7 minutes left on this 30-minute candle. It's still time for it to pull back and reject this trend line break. $30-minute here is 57.50. Microsoft rejected 427. Nvidia is breaking highs. Apple is breaking highs but wicking it off and seeing if it can push down lower. held below there on that minute close. We are getting that wedge that I like above a key level. So this rising wedge here, if we can break it down, then there's a chance that this could rotate. It happened here. It rotated. If it happens here, it could rotate from here as well. Russell is below that 2101. Trying to use these other indexes to my advantage. NVIDIA is still just pushing. Goog is rolling over some. Apple broke the high, but hopefully it can give some back. Microsoft still rejecting that 427. I need this 30-minute to close below 57.50. There's a breakdown of that little wedge. Let's see if it can continue to break down. If NVIDIA does its thing, I'm just kind of floating around in this. You know, we were positive some, we're negative some, we're positive some, we're negative some now. I don't like this to break out. That's the thing. I don't think that the breakout is in. I think that the rotation back to the downside seems like it wants to be more likely than the breakout to the high side. And that's why we're in this one. We're holding on to it. We're going to see if it will rotate us down to the lows. And we should get a hard break of VWAP if it's going to, right? It's got to break this little trend line as well. If we get down through even, stops over 57.50. You see NVIDIA trying to break that previous level. Microsoft trying to tick up. Apple wicked the high and now is trying to push down. Let's see. If NVIDIA gets a hard sell, then we could be good. S&P's grabbed a bunch of liquidity up to 296 and now it's trying to push back downside. If it gets down to 293, then like I said, we got to crack that 293.50 for this to continue on. I'm just going to be patient with it, see if it'll go. If it doesn't go and if it rips the high off, then it just rips the high off, and that's on us. But you know, until 11 o'clock, we may not get any sort of real action until 11 comes. It broke this little rising wedge. It tried to push right to our break even, and now it's trying to push through the highs. 52.25 broke down multiple times, and now it's holding as resistance. Now you got this little bit of a wedge here too forming, so I don't necessarily like that. If it breaks that, then you probably get a very whippy action to the high side. There's NVIDIA breaking up again. S&P's grab liquidity at 93, 94, pushing back up. Russell pushing back up. Apple rejecting the high. Microsoft trying to break above 427. Lack of push, still holding that 57 level, but not for long. 57.50 is that area that 30-minute candle becomes more a break above and a hold, but we got 2 minutes left in this candle, a minute in this candle, and the 1 minute, obviously, and then a minute on the 30 and the hourly. I feel like there's just so much liquidity at the 96 level on the S&Ps that we've grabbed 3 pretty big wicks, and now we want to try and push the downside after breaking down on that support. So that's really where I want to see this rotate one more time down. Hell yeah, Taylor. I dig it. Look at Microsoft. It's gonna fucking break the high, isn't it? $20 left for this candle to close below 57.50. 57.50. God damn. Didn't quite really get the follow through on the moves. Stream goes to 11 o'clock every day. 8:30 to 11. Monday morning we'll be back on, trying to get ourselves into a good rhythm for the week and, you know, rally back in. Let's see if we can get this to fail this level now once. Failed breakout, but it's a 30-minute breakout and it is holding that 57 level. So let's just watch it, see if it'll break down, be a failed breakout and rotate us lower. If not, no harm, no foul. We are going to be out for a full loss on that and, you know, just risking to the high of the day. Yeah, you know, it makes sense to do for us. Just leave the high of the day and now see if we could fail this one more time. Russell looks like it wants to fail. Microsoft is holding above that 427. Nvidia just took us off to the high side, and really that's kind of what ruined this trade, I think, is the Nvidia push to the high. Overall, I think it's just letting this thing do its thing, and we'll come back on Monday ready to rock and roll, get ourselves into some good entries. We're going to end the day, if this does stop us out, down about $60. But if it continues to give these wicks here and rotates to the downside, then we could be looking at a nice green. So, like I said, we have our stop there set for the high of the day. If it breaks the high of the day, then it's going to probably just rocket ship off in anyway, so we don't want to be involved. If we can get the breakdown and continue back down, then we'll be happy and we'll be, you know, still in. But like I said, we do stream 8:30 to 11 every day, Monday through Friday. This was the last weeks or so was I had some visitors, some family in town, so they were using the office as a guest room until this week. So now we're back in our regular streaming schedule. I believe next Friday there's no trading. I think it's a holiday shortened week on Friday of next week, so we'll have 4 days of good trading. Make some money back and go from there. Just been stuck in a losing streak here. There we go, down good $75 on the day. Flat and down 75. Oh, alrighty, everybody. I like I said, gotta get off. It's Friday. I'm not trying to fight this trend here. 11. We got that low that I was looking for the long here. Didn't play it. Tried to catch a short on the rotation back down, and we kind of just stopped ourselves out there. Overall, just gave back the win that we took and then some. We're going to watch this a little bit, just a couple more minutes. But like I said, I don't really want to go crazy fighting this. My target from overnight low to overnight high was the plan here. We're right at the high of the day. So, you know, if there's a lack of follow through on the high of the day, maybe you get a quick little short in here to rotate back to the lows. But, I mean, it's just kind of, is that the last head fake? I'll take this one more time. We'll take one more short. And we're going to stay in it too. Because of yesterday's not being able to get what I wanted to get, today we're going to do the trade that we want. After that wick off high, we're coming right back in. Let's get below here and hold. We need to get below 53s, this level here. Can't not take this. Microsoft wicking that high there. I want to see what Microsoft does because these other names are rolling. Apple wicked off top twice. It does have to 7306 though. Oh, not necessarily. That could be the high right there. Nope. Try to hammer that short one more time. Let's see if it'll play. If not, then we're definitely done for the day. But if it does work out, we're going to continue to see what happens at VWAP. We added 2 there. Get through that low. Get down to VWAP. Let's see what happens at VWAP. Come on to VWAP. Like I said, VWAP, I think the 5750 is that important level. I set my stop just above 57 at 58 and a quarter. If we could get this down below here and down into VWAP, then hopefully we could crack VWAP this time around. Rotate back down to the low of the day is really what I'm looking for. Get down. Get down. Looking to see this S&P try to break through the bottom end of the low is 294. It got to get through 294. If we can print an S&P print below 294, 52.94, then the NQ should be able to follow through as well. They're kind of just bouncing around together. You got a lower high in the ES. Got a wick off high here on the NQ. Sort of seems a little bit of topping, like a top area. The 552 area is really important for that breakout. Yeah, 552, 553 area. All right, looks like it wants to take us out of that 57 level potentially. That was a liquidity grab below 52 to take us higher to the long side. That was definitely a stop run, looking like. Unless we get stopped here and then it runs us down, then, it is what it is. But like I said, 57.50 is the line in the sand. If it gets above it right now, then it's probably going to take off. If it still holds below, then we probably can continue to the downside. So our stop is in a good location. It could get just grabbed and then we could run down again, but it is what it is. This is the entry I took. I'm going to leave it alone and not worry about it. If we get stopped out, we're not going to take another one. We're going to shut it down for the weekend. We're going to have a great weekend. Then we're going to come back Monday, 8:30, and hit it hard, 8:30 to 11, every day, Monday through Friday. For next week, I think Friday is a vacation day. So Monday through Thursday. I'm just going to keep holding this until this decides to follow through one way or the other. Then we're going to shut it down and head to work. I'm going to take the sweatshirt off because it's hot. And then the stop loss is going to get tagged. So 57.50, pretty good stop there. Not going to lie. I just know that this wants to get heavy and it doesn't want to play with me. Can we get the follow through this time? That was a good stop loss. We had it in a good location. We're going to leave it alone, see if we can get a follow through to VWAP. If we get to VWAP, have the plan to move the stop to break even, and then see what happens. If we can flush VWAP and this support here, then maybe we get that continuation all the way to lows. If not, we'll start to secure profits along the way down with, trailing our stop. But right now, it's just very indecisive at 50. S&P is looking to break that 94. Still holding it. It's amazing how this thing just hits off like clockwork. My entries are so... I feel like I have really excellent levels that play out time and time again, and I really work them well, and then I end up screwing myself over based on the levels. Because they just decide to go the other way. This time, if it does break above my zone, it probably breaks through that stop loss. So just be cautious of that 552 level. Like I said, if we get to VWAP, we're going to go to break even, which we just kind of cracked that low there. Didn't want to, so I'm going to give it to there. So now it's a free trade. We just let it go. See if it'll break down. See if it'll get through that VWAP area and see if that support holds or if it's going to break. Is this fourth touch on that little trend line going to break, or is it going to hold? If we're going to get stopped to break even, I'm okay with that because I don't really trust this market with anything right now. Everything seems to just want to be long bias. We have a 119 guy at 543. 119 at 543. trying to get filled. So if it gets down to 140, 543 and it doesn't just rocket, then he might just be dragging price towards that location. Although it's trailing up, it's 75 orders right now. It looks like he's just trying to get filled here. So I'm going to be cautious. That's why another reason why I'm at break even. I think maybe there's a chance that this starts to. You can see there's a bunch of big orders stacking here now. I want to see them all get kind of filled up and then just continue to push down. There's a 130 lot that gets down at 543 that keeps appearing and then disappearing. 543, 130, 543, 130. He's sitting there at 543. He's trying to pull price to that level, 135. There he goes. Price pulled through it. Now, if he got filled, it may bounce. But if he didn't, if it's just a spoof, then it's a chance that they pulled that price to that level just so they could continue to short. So let's watch it now. I think this is going to go here. What thing for that? The truck? It's right there. That's that box. There you go. See if this break now is going to be a true break of that level, or if we're going to go. Almost got off the stream. We're finally getting the flush. That's why I took this trade, because I said this flush was probably coming in now. I'm going to put my order at 2. I may take 2 off at VWAP. If it comes back above it, I'll mark it 2 out.
Hey, no.
If it holds above VWAP.
Daddy, not wanting.
I don't know what you want, dude. You silly guy.
For this. Like the Clipper, like chomp, like this.
100 put contracts for a crack over the next 4 hours. Crazy. What is that? Ah, rah, rah. What's on your face?
I want you to get
Max.
It's all good. It's family time here at the stream. What do you need? What do you need, buddy?
the thing like the chomp.
The chomps? What about this box? Open this box.
I'm ready to.
You checked in this box? I don't think you checked in this box. It's a chomper. It's got chomps. So we are short from the top there.
They're not.
There's no chomps? Is it in your room? I think it might be in your room. Remember you had the chomper? Let's update the position board here. We are short. For MNQ at 18,552. Currently sitting up some. If we'll take 2 out above here, above VWAP. I'm going to trail 2 there. And I'll put 2 at the high. At break even, I should say. I would like to never return to VWAP. That'd be nice. But you can see that there's some support here. There's liquidity. So I'm out on half the position. The rest of it is going to be at break even. So we are half that, 50. So we're down about $25 currently, sitting in 2 now. Short 2. P&L is going to be about minus 25. But realistically, we're sitting up about $30, so we're pretty much break even. But it's unrealized, so I would opportunistically potentially look to see if I could add back in. Try to work this position some. What do I do here? Do I leave the stop at the high 57.50? Or is this going to be a reversal? Where's this? Oh, 53. Yeah, if we hold above that original entry, then we're going to get out. That's pretty strong there, right? Very manipulative. I'll sell that again. Stop back above the same location we were at. So we get another flush down. We're going to add the 2 again, and then we're going to take 2 off again. Oh, that gap there. I don't like that. Grab some liquidity. Now it's popping back up. This held so nicely on a bounce. This can hold below 57 again. That flush one more time. We're taking an ad on it. We reload on the short below our current price. And then we're going to take that same contract off, see if we can secure another 50 bucks, and then let that 2 guy run. Kind of work that core position. Continue to just have the same risk and then take some off. Have some risk, take some off. That's the goal on this. 94 is holding on the S&Ps, trying to break. 52 here wants to break. If it does, then we can continue this, rotate down to the downside. There we go. We got another add-on. If it breaks above, then we're going to be out of the whole thing. Yeah. 30-minute looks real good. Short for me. 30-minute, I want to continue to push and not hold above this 53. As long as it holds below here, that's that breakout, false breakout of this. Could rotate right back down to the lows on the 30-minute chart. That's why I added a second back on, trying to take another one off at VWAP just to continuously secure a little bit. Keep that core two micros on. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to do that zoom. Oh, gosh. Come on now. That 45. Once again, bouncy. S&P's on the 5 is just choppy. Keeps playing with that 93.50 level. Every time it bounces from 93.50, I get a pop in the NQ here. So I want that 93.50 to just give up, and then that should give up the rest of the market. I actually don't like this. I want to take this off down here. But I think if this level flushes, I think VWAP gets a nice little break again, and then we get another flush, and I don't want to stop that profit from being taken there. S&P is just holding that 93.50. Hold this 52. You can see it trying to hold this 52 on that 30-minute there. 52, 53, 53, and we're out. We're flat. All right, so ended up even on that trade. Well, up a little tiny bit. 51. Yeah, up a touch. Alrighty. That's enough for the day. I think we're going to go ahead and call it. We are flat now. I appreciate everybody coming by, stopping in. We are going to come back Monday, ready to go. Today's market's shitty, kind of choppy. Just is what it is on the day. Gotta get rid of that position there. I hope everybody has a great week, great weekend. Enjoy it. Take some time off. Get ready, study up for the weekend, and then get ready for Monday morning, 8:30 a.m. I'll be back on. We'll just talk through everything I'm seeing for the day, for the week. I'll do my normal write-up Sunday night. This week was a little bit off. So until Monday morning, I will see you guys then. I appreciate it. Peace out, everybody. Off to work, actually. That's where I got to go. So until I can do this full time, I'll be on all day. But I appreciate. Thanks for being here, asshole ice cream man. Hopefully your shorts play out.